Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB bikini pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Hello and welcome to the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and today I'll be speaking to an incredible coach, trainer, model, and teammate. She's a two-time Olympian and one hell of a competitor who has graced the most prestigious stages in the world since earning her pro card in 2013. Welcome, Tamara Haddad. How are you doing?
Wow, that was amazing, Celeste. This is very good. Thank you so much for having me. That was it's your first show, and I'm honored to be on it. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. That was really special.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm doing well.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad
thank
to hear
you.
that. Thanks for being my first one.
Hey, I'm honored to be your first one. This is going to be really cool. I think it's such a cool idea that you have to interview different IFBB bikini pros, and I hope that you find many that are willing to share. And I know all the information that is going to be spoken about is going to be really helpful for different women that are trying to compete. And, I hope that you find people that are ready to be super honest and about their journeys and whatever questions others have, and maybe you could take questions from the audience as you build the audience and see what everybody wants to know about, because this could be really helpful for many people. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. That's a great idea. It's definitely something that I've been excited about for so long. And I think one of the biggest things that a lot of people wonder, and, we kind of talked a little bit before, but there's a lot of questions. And I think one of the things that comes up a lot is actually that moment right before a competitor steps on stage. And I'd love to know, in that moment for you, what is that one thing, thought, mantra, prayer, because I know you're really heavily into faith, that fires you up before your heel hits the stage?
Wow, that's a good question. My mindset, it has been different throughout my competitive history. It's been 8 years of competing. I started in 2010, and so as I've changed throughout the years, that's changed. So as I lead up to that moment, lately, it's this last year has been, God, I just wanna honor you, and I want the people to feel you through me. I want God to shine through me. I want them that, because that's where my confidence stems from. So I want people to feel that energy, that really confident, that really bright light, all that love that I have, because I have a lot of love in my heart. I want them to feel that. And so my posing is very important. And so before I hit the stage, that's really what I'm thinking about. I'm trying to exude that. I'm trying to release that energy onto everybody there, onto the judges, because I want them to feel me. I want them to feel my soul inside what I'm. So it's that like deep energy, that powerful energy that I'm focused on, and that I'm trying to put out there. And that's what I'm thinking before I come out.
Wow, that's really amazing. I absolutely love your posing, and I think that you do a really, really good job of that. Actually, I know it because every single time I've
Thank
watched
you.
it, seriously, it's beautiful. And I truly believe that you do exude that confidence, and I think that's why so many people come to you for posing coaching as well. I mean, let's be real, it's a pretty saturated market. Some people don't know what they're doing in it, and some people really do. And I think that you're one of those coaches who absolutely does. And the best proof of that is literally your posing. So you're so welcome. I mean it. And something that there's a few things.
Appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Mm-hmm.
You're so welcome. And you mentioned something that I love that you use the word soul, because I am a big believer in our soul is literally like our body is our soul's greatest asset. And when we take care of our body and when we put in that work, especially as competitors, we are grinding every single day, day in and day out. And then we get to go on stage. That's our moment to really shine through our soul. Like that's when we get to exude that, like you said. So
Yeah.
when you mention like love and making the judges and the audience feel a certain way, I 100% believe that our energy is going to dictate what we are going to attract right back. So the fact that you can put that
100%.
out, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Does that come a little
Yeah.
bit from like your faith in God?
It does. It does. And then that's something that's developed over time and gotten stronger and stronger. So from the time I started, I wasn't thinking that way. My first couple competitions, I think that it was my faith took a turn for the good. It was like 2012ish, I think. 2013. It was 2013 or something like that when I qualified for my first national show where I got my pro card. It was during that year and during those few months that I started to first change and start getting closer with God. And I started to have a different mindset. I started to pray a different way, and my praying has changed over time. And praying is like it's meditating to some people. It's talking with God, it's being silent or listening. My actual verbal prayer started to become one that was more bold and in belief. And so whether you believe in God or not, if you use this technique, it's gonna happen for you. I started to think, why not me? Why not me? I started saying that to myself. Why not me? I really believed in myself. I believed that I was good enough. I am good enough, and I can do good. And why not me? And why wouldn't they pick me? Why wouldn't they pick me as I go try to get my pro card? Why not? Hey, I don't see why not. So my talk started to become like that. And it wasn't like a conceited thing. It was just a confident thing. It was a strong belief thing. In myself. And I just started to really believe, and that would be like my prayer, that I believe that I'm going to have this. I believe that I'm going to do this. And I believe that it will happen. I believe that it's already happened.
Yes.
So even like putting it in the past and saying, yeah, like I have my pro card. I am a pro. I know I'm a pro, and then I go and get my pro card, So just, I believe. And so I forget your question.
No,
went on a tangent.
No, that was beautiful. It really was. I mean, you answered the question completely. I mean, I think it was just about your faith in God and how that transpired into your confidence on stage. And the funny thing about what you're saying, and I just love you because I realize there's so many similarities, and I noticed that obviously a lot of athletes have similar mindsets, but something that I love is that you're talking about belief. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a best-selling author of a book called Believe Your Way to Badass. And in that book,
oh, wow.
yes.
What do you know? I didn't know that. No, I'm just getting to know you actually just this week. I'm excited to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that's really cool.
Thank you. And that book, I literally talk about those principles of I am, right? It's not a matter of when. It's already done. It's taken care of. And now I just have to trust that by knowing it's done, I can step into that identity of the pro, of the nationally qualified, of the first place, of just the competitor in general. I mean, I remember before, like I just got nationally qualified. I'm very excited about it still, but
congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
That's great.
Which, I have to mention this right now. I'm going to go on a little tangent myself. You inspired me so much through my last prep going into Vegas because I don't remember. I think it was Joe and Ingrid at a workshop. They said that you hadn't placed first or won an overall or something like that in a amateur show, but you qualified for nationals and now look at you, right? And that inspired me so much because I placed third, and then I was like, well, shoot, I came here to place and qualify for nationals, so I competed back to back, went to Vegas, and I was thinking about you the whole time, like, she didn't stop, look where she is now, regardless of if it's first or second. The point is that I am now in that identity. And so
That is so cool. Yeah, I love that.
Well, you've
I
been,
really want
I
to
mean,
read it.
what?
I want to read your book. It sounds like it's a great book. It sounds like it's the same, practice. You must be
Mm.
practicing the same things that I practice,
Yeah, I'll send you a
So that's
copy.
really, really cool. I'd love to check it out. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm lucky that I've gotten to people, throughout use my
Mm.
story and be able to talk about it so people can hear about it. And I love Joe and Ingrid, and I love that they tell my story to this day. They've been such amazing coaches and friends and family, and they believed in me. And I got my story is that I got a second place. It was my third bikini show, and I got a second place. It was the first time in the top 5. And then I went to the nationals. I got a second place. I got my pro card with that second place. And then even,
Wow.
and I've always been, and before that, in all the sports I've done as a child, like I wrestled in high school. I danced in for 5 years before that. And so I did different kind of sports, and I always got second place. I was
Wow.
always second place. Yeah, I got a second place in the CIF championships in wrestling in high school. And
Beast.
then I was always like second place in our dance competitions. I did tap, jazz, and ballet. It was always second place, never first. So it was a lifetime. You
Mm.
and you can keep pushing. You should keep pushing. If you believe in yourself, why not? I got a pro card with a second place. And so when I actually took a first place win, that was really special for me. And it went like a couple of shows the very first year I was a pro, and I got in the top 5. And then the next year, I think I took a whole year off almost. I got kind of fatty. I rebounded. I
Mm.
came back and then started again the next year with a full focus and ability to fully focus because I wasn't working that year. I had some things happen with my job, and so I was able to just kind of take a break and focus on competition. And my goal was to get to the Olympia. And I said, that's it. I am going to be an Olympian. And I know
Mm.
people around me just doubted me and like, no, you're, no,
Mhm.
most people don't want you to do good, or they get jealous
Yeah.
or whatever it is. I started saying that to myself. No, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I will do whatever it takes to become an Olympian. I have what it takes, and I'll do what it takes, and I'll go to the Olympia this year. And if I don't, I'll die trying. That's
Mhm.
how serious it was to me. And, this sport, it's not all healthy, and I wish it was. But I used to
Mm.
even joke around with saying, this is not about health. Winning's not about health in the sport. You have to be willing to put it all on the line because it is kind of dangerous to do it on that
Yeah.
level. And I was willing to do that year, and I did. And
Mm.
I did. I put it out there, and I worked hard. I sacrificed a lot, and it went from a 5th place to a 4th place to a 3rd to a 2nd to finally getting a 1st place for the first time in my life, which was really, really amazing feeling. And then to my first Olympia,
That's
and
so awesome.
the first time I won, I had this. I was so. It was such an interesting sound that was coming out of my soul, really, because it was coming out of my mouth, but it was coming out of the depths of my soul. It was like this relief, this cry.
Mm.
It wasn't a pretty thing, okay? It was like, but it was a deep thing, It was like a deep thing
Yeah.
that I recognized that of like, I don't know, satisfaction, of relief, of
Yeah.
just like, it wasn't just, it's not the validation from others. It's just, I needed to do that for myself. I needed to feel that,
Yes,
I
it's like
needed
a
to feel
healing.
that. It was a healing. Felt amazing healing that day. So that was a great that goes down in the books. That was
Oh,
one
of
of the best days.
course. I mean,
I mean,
that's
that was better than my Olympia experiences. That
really
first time I won, yeah, that was my
wow.
favorite show, and the second one I won. Those two are the only two times I've gotten first place, and those were my favorite shows. You know, my
Mm.
most personal, special shows,
Yeah,
more
because it
special
takes
than
a
the
lot to
Arnold's
get
I just
that.
did. Yeah, it was special. It was special.
Yeah, I mean, you had come from a lot, and you mentioned that you had came out of a bad rebound, you had felt fatty, and then of course people didn't believe in you, and all these different obstacles. And um, on a topic that a lot of competitors and a lot of girls who don't even compete but know that it happens, fear is
Yeah,
that post-show rebound. And I know I personally rebounded really bad after my first show.
yeah.
And that was just like, what the heck? And after that, I had to take a lot of time to heal my relationship with food and with my body. And, even though I learned a lot from that rebound and I've had successful reverse diets and programming since then, I'd love to know what you would say is the culprit for the rebound, whether it was for you or what you could attribute it to for others as well.
Yeah. It's a lot of things. It's a really hard part of this sport, and most people don't talk about it. You're right, because everybody feels kind of embarrassed, ashamed, and they hide out. And I've done it so many times, and for me, it wasn't just once, like for you. It's been
Mm,
many times, and there's times where I've had a better control over myself afterwards, after the show, and I've been able to maintain a nice physique, or a healthier physique, without rebounding, but that's been less than the rebound times.
mm,
So the rebound, I attribute that towards the extremity of the sport. You have to, and it's different for everybody, mind you. So my body is really hard to break, and the type of dieting that I have to kind of go into towards the end, or for such long periods of time, um, is extreme. And for most people, it is. For most
mm,
competitors, it is. This sport, especially, it's better for girls who are like ectomorphs, and that
mm,
are naturally just a little leaner, a little more skinny, on the natural side, like that, just that type of body that has a fast metabolism, that is already kind of skinny,
mm.
already kind of like, petite. But if you're working with somebody like me, I can put muscle on really quick. I can get put on fat real quick. I'm a thicker build. I'm just a thick gal, and I'm
Yeah.
Middle Eastern. I feel like I have stubborn fat. Like, I don't know. So just everybody's body is different, and when you diet for a really long time, or if you have even if you have a crash, even if you crash diet for a short period of time, and you have to go extreme, both of those things can lead into, oh my gosh, I've been deprived for such a long time. I don't care what happens at this point. I'm just glad the show is over. Give me some food. I
Right.
have this little video from the Arnold, from this the last show I did in Australia, and my fiance took the video. It's just a little clip, and it's
Mhm.
backstage. I'm laying on the couch, and he's like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "I just want this to be over so I can eat." It's so funny, but
Yes.
it's just like, you just go so hard that at some point you either can be motivated enough when you're done to go, I worked so hard for my body, and I really want to do what it takes to keep it. I say that every time. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but just that extremity at the end is what
Yes.
does it for me. It might be even like the last 2 weeks where I'm just about to break. It's just been like way too long. You're doing so much exercise to get that lean. You know, so you
Yes.
just need a break. You just need to go so hard that you need a break. So this time it happened to me again.
Oh,
Here I am
really?
on the pro level, 2 times Olympian. Just had my first two Arnolds, but I mean, I'm competing with the best. I am one of the best, and I'm at the top level stages, and that's still something that happens to me, and it's still something that
Mm,
happens to a lot of girls. But the truth is no one's going to really tell you about it because they don't want you to think that they don't know how to control themselves. It's a hard thing to go, hey, I couldn't control myself, but I'm a professional, but that's the truth, is that, hey, you go so hard sometimes as a professional or even as an amateur that you don't care anymore at the end. You're done. You want to just chill out and just not have all that routine life and, meal 1 is at this time, meal 2 is at this time, and it's got to be 4 ounces and it's got to be 1 cup and it's got to be this much cardio at this time for this long at this intensity. You just need a break, so you just to kind of like just be normal and be free. And then it's hard because girls go through this and they're used to seeing themselves at a very small petite shape at size. And then if you aren't careful and you rebound hard in that first week, you can get so swollen with water retention. Won't look so weird too. That's a weird kind of water retention.
Yes, it's so weird.
It's not a normal. It's not like you put on a bunch of fat. It's just mostly water. But
you look like a balloon almost.
Yeah, I've gone one time. I looked like, one day I'm a bikini model, and it was one of my earlier shows. And then like 5 days later, I looked like I was pregnant.
Yes.
My belly was like huge, like came out like a pregnant belly. My ankles were swollen, like looked so terrible. I remember my friend he wanted to take me shopping and like congratulate me, like, great job. And he was like, oh my God, what happened to you?
You're like, yeah, I was wondering
like,
the same.
To go shopping like for some new like cute clothes.
Oh my God. You're like, you show up, he's like, what's going on? Like, and then you feel uncomfortable in your own skin, and you feel like you're looking in the mirror, you're looking at the other competitors on Instagram. You can't help but compare yourself because human nature. And we're kind of conditioned that way. And then what I noticed, which is so unfortunate, and I want to see, I think a shift is starting to happen, but I think it could be a lot better. There's only like, even at no matter what level you're on, people will choose to only show their leanest, meanest, amazing body, awesome, ready to rock the stage right that second photo. That there are girls who, and then they'll post it all year round and not say, or maybe they won't disclose. So it's like, you can't tell, was it a photo shoot? Did they just take that this morning? So then you have that 18, 19, 23, 50-year-old woman looking at these photos of these absolute amazing competitors going, oh my God, she holds it down every day, all year round. Like, this girl's a beast. And they don't see that struggle. They don't get to see you standing in front of the cabinet going, I really want that piece of chocolate. Like, damn, I haven't had a cookie in forever. Or, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to go do my fasted cardio. I know that it'll benefit me. Maybe I'll just put it off. So not a lot of people actually see that because it's not discussed, which is a big reason why I'm starting this podcast and why it's.
I love it. I love the reason for your podcast. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because literally, Celeste, they don't see that and actually I made a video because I want to show people. I'm not very good with my video editing skills, so I've been putting this off. I made the video like 5 days ago. I want people don't see me wake up every morning right now. It's been 1 month after Arnold, right? Mm-hmm. And this really started happening like maybe 1 to 2 weeks after Arnold. I blew up, I rebounded this time. And it's not so bad. Like, it's not like I'm not fat, but because I'm so muscular and I'm fit, and I'm strong, so you actually almost look like, I still look fit. I get compliments from people like, wow, you must work out. And I'm like, oh my God, really? I feel so fat. They think I look great, but I see myself that I went from like 118 and I'm like 145 now,
Wow. 30, yes. Very different.
30 pounds. There's a big difference in my eyes. People don't see me wake up and look in the mirror and go, oh my gosh, like, yes, what the heck happened? And you're pulling on your like leggings and you're like, it's a little bit tighter and oh my gosh. Everything's tight. You know what I did last week? Shame on me, but it's okay. I went and bought, I went and bought like 3 like bigger sized shirts. I didn't want to buy too much because I'm not planning on staying here for too long. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like, the thing is I'm not fat. I just like
Right.
am bigger now, so I'm not fitting in those really smaller, petiter clothes. They're just a couple size different, but it's tight and it's not like,
Yeah.
doesn't look good in that anymore.
Yeah,
So
and
I
you
went and bought
deserve
a
to be
couple of
comfortable.
shirts. Yeah, I bought some comfortable shirts. You know what I'm saying? I bought some comfortable
Mm-hmm.
shirts. Like just for right now, like, my butt looks great. It's big and, looks voluptuous and sexy and
Yes.
fat, and I don't mind fat going there and that getting bigger. But my area that I'm not so in love with is my stomach. So
Mm-hmm.
like I have a little belly. When I do put on the weight, it goes there. It's like this little baby bump thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not going to look the same unless I'm eating a very clean diet and working out very routine. Then I kind of need a looser t-shirt, because
Yes.
I'm not comfortable in other things I would wear. So yeah, I just am trying to learn how to actually be kind to myself during this time,
Mm.
and remember that this is an extreme sport, and I did push myself really, really hard towards the end, and that extreme push right there does send some people overboard. And I was ready to eat and relax and take a break and be normal, and that's okay,
Yes,
and
it's
that's
the
okay to do.
acceptance.
you know, as long as you stay healthy.
Yeah.
So you don't want to rebound and go crazy. My rebound wasn't like what it has been in the past. In the past, in the beginning, was like more of binging,
Yeah.
of like
Mm-hmm.
serious binging where I lost control. This time wasn't, it was more like I just wanted to eat something. I like sweets, so I've been eating the sweets every day, once a
Girl,
day,
I
which a
know.
lot of normal people do, but it's not like for someone that's that petite and small and coming out of competition with a
Oh
sensitive
no.
body, sensitive to sugar, to carbs, to water, to sodium, to everything you haven't given it. And I didn't work out for 3 weeks. I injured myself when I first got back, so I
Oh.
couldn't like work out with the same intensity and like kind of taper off of the cardio and the workouts. I just was like, stop, So that's not really good to do, but it was out of my control.
Yeah, that
Um,
happened to me too. I
that
got I got really sick after my back-to-back
yeah,
show, and it was like I felt mentally like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't work out, and I'm not sure how I should eat right now because I'm not moving." So
yeah.
it's like what, and you see your body changing, and it's like, "What's going on?" And then
You're
um
like, no,
yeah, and I'm glad that you're like really focusing on being kind to yourself. I know something that has helped me is going like, okay, there's room to grow, right? Like there's always room to grow. And the extra fat or the extra fluff, I don't remember where I read this, but I remember reading this, and it was like, if you spend every waking moment worried about what that piece of chocolate or that piece of candy is going to do to your body, it's going to consume your thoughts and mind so much to the point where you won't even be able to enjoy whatever moment it is that you're in because you're going to be so preoccupied with the food.
yeah,
And I think that a lot of people, there's a stigma, and it's not necessarily wrong, but I don't also believe that it's entirely right that bodybuilding is an eating disorder, and is technically, like, people believe that it really is, like, the preps are an eating disorder. And that's like a big reason is because then, yeah, there's that big binge where it's like, I'm just going to eat and eat and eat and eat. And then we see girls post like, okay, well, now that I ate all this, I have to go work it all off. And that's a version of purging. And
yes, uh-huh.
it's not good. And you're a psychology mate. You got your degree in psychology, which is awesome. I'm studying that,
Hmm.
by the way. So
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Yes. And we
Yeah,
were just learning about like eating disorders and just different mental hurdles and struggles. So, some people would consider like rebounding as a loss, and it's a lot of it's about perspective, right? It's like how we see it. And a normal person would look at you freaking out about having like a piece of candy every day and be like, wait,
yeah,
that's not abnormal. But like you said, it's different for someone with a sensitive body coming out. Like, you can't have the same things. And then even branching
Yeah.
off of that, if you do, it's going to show differently than on
Yeah.
anybody else.
Right. It shows totally different on a depleted body that is coming out of a show, sensitive body. It's gonna, like, the reverse diet. It's so important. It's more important than the show.
Yeah.
Really, it's learning how to have the discipline to reverse diet is harder than the discipline to get to the show. Because now you don't have that date locking you in with the fear of oh my gosh, what am I going to look like on that day? I better look good.
Yeah.
Now there is no date, and you really have to. It depends on what you want to do with yourself, And because your body is so sensitive, you're right. It's not going to show the same as if a person that's eating chocolate every day already. You eat some chocolate or some ice cream, you're going to get swollen. You're going to have a belly.
Yeah.
It's just totally different look. And it is uncomfortable. And I preach to my clients, that the day of the show that is not the last day of your diet. You need to continue. I at least try to do a mandatory 2 week post show, program with them, if they're willing to do it with me, because I think it's so important. There's
That's
very few
awesome.
times where I'll waive that. It's only for someone that's really experienced, that I see in the past hasn't rebounded, then I can waive that for them. But otherwise, it's mandatory. And because I've gone through it so much now, I'm able to I'm able to be more kind with myself, even though it's still hard. And it's still hard, and I've still rebounded to a point where maybe I wish I didn't eat this much, but I'm still have a level head, and I'm able to deal with this really well. I've gone through it so many times that I understand it takes time for the body to kind of balance back out, and the motivation to go back up from, you get a little depression sometimes.
True.
And I'm familiar with all the symptoms. So I think that makes me a good teacher, but I also, I'm able to be there for other people that are going through that. And I'm able to bring myself out of it. And I'm able to be a little kinder to myself each time.
Yeah.
If it does happen to happen, then I'm able to go, okay, well, I talk to myself, and I tell myself it's going to be all right. And just take it's like you're starting all over. That's the truth. I put myself in at day one almost, and mentally you are, like, when you have to start at day one, you feel pretty depressed,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you just, like with anything, you got to talk yourself through it. All right, had a great day today. I'm going to focus on eating whole foods. I don't have to eat meal 1 through 6. I did exactly that. I can just eat healthy proteins and any kind of vegetable I want. I can have some fruit, because that's good to have one serving or 2 servings of fruit in the day, and things start to level back out. And then also something with, like, weighing yourself. Like, I actually weigh myself every day, and it's the time I shouldn't be doing that. That's in my head a little too much. So but if you're able to understand that your weight fluctuates and water fluctuates, and some people more than others, then you're and you know how to handle that. It's okay. Then what I start doing with myself, because my weight might be higher, like today I'm 2 pounds heavier than yesterday, but yesterday and the last 3 days I've been on my good eating, and I'm not going to let that mess with my mind, because I understand, what's going on. And anything to affect the water fluctuation, unless you're on the rigid meal 1 through 6, and you know exactly how much salt you're putting in and exactly when you're eating your carbs, then the water weight's going to fluctuate.
Right. And if you see it, it's like, okay, well, at least you understand it, or you can
understand it, then it's okay. Yeah.
Right. There's a reason.
Deal with it.
So
and you can go, and go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I love that you make that a requirement for your clients, to do that with you 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For sure. I think that's awesome. I love that you take that responsibility, almost to saying like, I'm going to be here for you through that, because I've been there before. I love that. I really do.
Thank you. Especially for beginners, like they don't necessarily know what they're getting into, and um, sometimes people don't have support, and I know how that's been in the past. Sometimes where times that I didn't have the support, and most times you're really on your own. Even if you have support, even if you have a coach, even if you have me as your coach, you're still alone all day,
Yes.
and you're
The thoughts are still
still
there.
alone. Yeah, so you still have to make the right decisions, but you just want to be able to have that person to call or to run things by, just to be there for you as a friend, whatever, to help you get through that time. But I forget what I was saying. Yeah, it's a sensitive time. I forgot what the point I was getting at. I lost
No,
track. Lost
that it's I'm glad that you shared all that, because that really like opens up my eyes to like a lot more in depth of like the fact that this is something that, yes, your rebounds have gotten better, they're not as bad, but you've gotten to a place where when they happen you can grow from them, and you've developed a knowledge about them so much so that when they happen it's like, okay, let's go back to the
right.
basics. And
Yes,
I
exactly.
think like in regards to like the meals and whatnot, I totally agree with you. Something that helps me is like mix it up. Mix it up, because you don't have to have a 10 asparagus. You don't have to have the chicken if you want the turkey. You don't have to have the sweet
Yeah,
potato or the rice if you're feeling like making a big bowl of oats, like those things can
right,
change. And that's the beauty of it. If you want to add a little bit of some like sauce on top, it is not going to kill you. It's just like you said, you're going to step on the scale a day, 2 days, 3 days, and you have to go, okay, I made these decisions. I'm going to own them, and I'm going to see how it affected my body, but I'm not attaching any other worth or value. The scale is literally just helping me to determine what changes I'm making and how they're affecting me. And it's not a judgment thing, it's just a acceptance. And you even mentioned actually in your new YouTube series, which by the way has beautiful video editing, The Road Less
oh, thank
Traveled.
you.
Yes, you're
Yes, that's
welcome.
why thank you. My Thai Productions is amazing. They filmed most of that, and some of it was my own trying to do some selfieing, but they edited that part for me, and they're amazing.
Oh
They're
my
an
god.
amazing
It is
video
so
production
fun to
company.
watch. It is really fun to watch. I definitely like,
Thanks.
I hope that they can listen to this and recognize that they're awesome and killing it, because it highlighted so much of your energy and who you are. And I want to ask you and kind of touch on really quick is like, you can relate to not only the professional athlete, but you mentioned also to your clients who come and see you in the gym. You have one in particular who comes in often. I see her on your Instagram. So I totally am blanking on her name. Instagram stories. She brought you that water bottle that was like drink up.
Oh, Angie, I love
Yes.
Angie.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Angie is like in the video, and you're talking about how you can inspire and be, you use the words living example um, to your clients. And I want to know from you, because when I watched that, I thought, I wonder if one of like random average person on the street saw that video, if they would think, because they maybe want to have an amazing, amazing body, because your body rocks, like your athletic body is still way above average, right? It's not
Thank
anyone
you.
else's average. You're welcome. So, and you worked hard for it. So people are going to see that and go, okay, well, like, wow, if I could even have half that, right? So then they might hear you go, well, oh, she's a professional athlete. Oh, I could never have that. I could never achieve that. So what do you think bridges that gap or creates that connection that allows the average to see you, the professional, the elite, as their example?
Uh, okay, let me try to follow that question. Okay, what bridges? Break that question down
Yeah,
a
for
little bit
sure.
more elementary for me.
No, it's all good. It was long-winded.
Like what?
Like
Like what would allow somebody more normal to feel like they can attain something like that?
just like
Or
what
to
parts of
understand it?
being like a professional athlete can inspire the average person to keep doing what they're doing, but even a little bit better?
Okay. Um,
that make sense? I'm probably
Got me.
not being very,
I'm
it
trying to.
does.
No, that's okay. It makes sense to you. I'm just trying to make it make sense to me. Uh, it could no, it could be just my understanding of it. I want to answer it properly. I I I think that you're asking me like how someone would be more motivated to take it to the next level by seeing me, or
Yes,
is that
yes.
what
Even if
kind
they
of
don't want to be an
saying?
elite athlete, but they want to take it to the next
Yeah.
level.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like my client Angie. Like, so my client Angie she's seen my physique, and she reached out to me, and she likes the physique of professional bikini athletes, and she is somebody like normal, that she came a little bit heavier. She needed to get in shape. She needed to get in condition. She had some weight to lose. She lost like 25 pounds, and now she's
Mm-hmm.
striving because she's she's taking it day by day. But she listened to everything I said, and she was ready to make that change. So she did, with the right instruction and direction. She listened. She did it. But now, how is she taking it to the next level? And she does connect with me, and she is able to like be with me every day and see what I'm going through, so that I know that does inspire her, and that helps her to have a leader that actually lives the lifestyle, and she sees how I eat, she sees how I train. I train her
Mm-hmm.
the same way I train me, so I put her through bikini workouts,
Right.
and we're building the same type of physique. So um she's like she's motivated because she's herself. She's motivated by herself, to
Mm.
live a healthy lifestyle. But I think watching me do it, and being it's real life, she's with me, I think that's inspiring for her. That motivates her, that like, look, I see this person right in front of me. They're doing it, they're eating this way, and they're working out this way, and it can be done, you know
Yes.
and she's a normal person. you know
Yes,
I'm talking about me.
exactly.
Like, I'm a normal person. I'm just like everybody else. So some people glorify different people on Instagram, and I don't like that. I don't think that's cool. I think if anyone ever tells me things like that, I thank you. I really appreciate the compliment, but I always tell people at like meet and greets or wherever I'm at, that people that I meet that have something nice to say, I try to remind them like, hey, listen, you are me. You are just like me. There's no pro that is better than you. We're all human beings, and we all have the ability to do whatever we want and create whatever we want. So
Mm,
it just depends on how bad you want it. But if you surround yourself with people like, okay, like you're saying, if you surround yourself with maybe professionals, then you might start to walk and talk and act like a professional, and live like a professional and become a professional.
right.
So yeah, so I think that people, they have to find the motivation within themselves, but then they can look up to others and professionals, and just realize that, hey, this person's a human being, and just like them, I can accomplish anything that I want too.
Mm.
So I think that's the best way I can relate to that question.
I love that. I think that that's a really good reminder to people that, hello, we are all human and we are all here to help and inspire and motivate each other. I mean, as human, as a species, I mean, we are
Hmm.
uh, based on community, and to develop that level of consciousness where we can all really come together, I think it comes from being willing to say, hey, I need the help. Hey, I recognize the strengths in you can bring out or address the weaknesses that I feel I want to improve on in myself. And then when we do those things, and like you said, especially when we surround ourselves with people who can help us do those things, the world changes, and we
Yeah,
have to be willing to invest in that change, invest time, energy, effort, sometimes money, sometimes it's
yeah.
relationships, it's things will change. And if we are 100% willing to go all in and do that, there's absolutely, it's like input output. If you put all of it in, you're going to get all of it out. So you might as well.
You absolutely, yeah.
It's,
You can literally like every day that goes by, I realize more and more that you can literally do anything you want. I told someone
mm,
yesterday, I really believe that I know I can fly. Okay, I know it sounds
yeah.
crazy, but I know I can fly. But it's like that song, I believe I can fly. But
Yes.
I believe that if I wanted to fly bad enough, that I could fly and that I could do it
Find
in
a
this
way.
lifetime. Yeah, I think I could, but I would have to want it bad enough. And I mean, that's pretty supernatural. But if you take that on a like more natural level, if you want anything to become anything in this world or whatever it is that you want to attain, if you think about it long enough and you tell yourself you can have it and you tell yourself that you have it, and you put all your effort and every thought and every action and you start living it like you have it, then you're
Mm,
gonna have it. You will eventually
absolutely.
get it.
It will come to you.
Yeah,
And if it doesn't come to you today, tomorrow, the next day, don't beat yourself up. Accept the
right.
present moment. Like love the present moment, because this present moment is the moment that you were preparing for 5 years ago when you set out on the journey you're currently living. And it's
Right.
like we do so much future planning, so much I'm going to become this, I'm going to do this, that we miss out on what's happening right now. And this is the part that's the most amazing, critical, beautiful part of that transformation. It's
Yeah,
like when we're making those decisions on a daily basis to be something new, to become better, and to choose that for ourselves and know that it doesn't matter if we lose everything we had, gain everything we never even knew we would ever have. It doesn't matter what happens
yeah,
as long as we are living in that for ourselves, within ourselves, and knowing that not only is it possible, but it's inevitable. And
yeah,
when we accept that belief, it just goes back to what we talked about before, accepting that it's already done. It's part of your life. It exists in the universe, right? Energy is not created or destroyed, right? So it's already out there.
hmm
You have to go up there and
hmm
decide, oh, here it is, up here, way up here in the, I'm moving my hands, no one can see me, but like it's way up here in the universe. Let me just grab it
yeah,
and take it and put it in my soul. Like it's mine now. That's all we got to do.
yes, yeah, yeah. You're right. I love that. The present moment is the most important, and you really do have to soak it up and just enjoy and like really be in this moment. Every moment that you have is special. You
Mm.
know.
I
Yeah,
literally, I
love
could
that.
talk to you all day about all this. Seriously, it's amazing all the value that you have been putting into this. I appreciate it so much. You are giving, and
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I
yes,
enjoyed the podcast as well, and maybe we can do a round two
I
in
was
the
thinking
future. And
that. I was thinking we
yeah,
definitely like. I want to bring you back on because I feel like there's so much more to talk about, and um,
yeah.
I think one thing I'd love for you to leave the audience with is, can you just let them know, like, what's one piece of advice that you'd give someone who is thinking about competing or is competing and serious about going pro? Like, what's a piece of advice that you would absolutely want them to know or that you would have liked to know?
Oh, it's a great question. I'm just laughing because I just don't have the best advice for someone like that right now because of where I am personally at with this
Mm.
journey and this sport. I would tell lately my answer for something like that is don't do it. Okay, that's why I would just say don't do it. Turn the other way, run away. I but if someone is really serious, I would want my advice to them would be I need to ask you why. You need to know why. Ask yourself, why do you want this? That's my advice. Why do you want this so bad?
Wow.
You're gonna need to write that down, and you're gonna need to know how much that's worth, um, and understand why you're doing this, and make sure that that's worth it to you. You know,
Yeah.
talk with different people, ask them what they've been through, so you kind of understand a little bit more. Go interview some people and talk to as many people as possible. I asked so many questions in the beginning. I even got made fun of. There's this young lady that said, "Oh, you're the girl that asks a lot of questions. We make fun of you." Oh, good. Well, then I got my pro card, and then I became an
Yeah.
Olympian, and then I
You're like, watch
became
out.
yeah, and so it's good to ask questions, and who cares to what they think. Get as much information as possible, and figure out if that's really, really something that you want to do. Why is this valuable to you? You know,
Mm.
why is this worth it to you? Do you understand the sacrifice that you're going to make to do this? Because it will be a sacrifice to go that far. You will sacrifice all things, you know, to take it that far. You really do. And
Yeah.
you know, I sacrificed my personal relationships and um, you know, time with my family and my love life and so many things, you know, so that I could, you know, make it there and do that same thing. So I would just say have a clear idea, make sure your goal and is defined with a, you know, understand why you're going to do this, and
Mm.
then go for it, you know, because then you can write that down, and when things are really, really difficult, then you could read that and you could remind yourself why you're doing this. And if that ever
Yes.
becomes like, if that reason isn't good enough, then maybe you should not waste your time doing this because it's a big sacrifice. Maybe put the energy into something else that you will have more value in, you know. But if there's a
Mm.
good reason and you have a good reason to do it, then you know, power to you. Go get it, you know, because it's an also an amazing. I mean, I don't want to discourage anybody. It's an amazing experience that I've really developed my faith from, and um, strengthened my walk with God, and learned discipline, and that's just leaked out into all areas of my life. Learned the strength, built strength. That it's not just physical strength; it's the mental strength, it's the spiritual strength that helped me to deal with all kinds of things in life. So it's a really an amazing thing. But just know why you're doing it, and if you have a good reason, it's not a shallow reason, then go
Mm.
for it, you know, and do it. But ask yourself why.
That's so amazing and such great advice. I really appreciate you leaving them with that because we see it all the time. People compete just to compete. You know, it'll make me more a bit better in the industry. It'll make me more known. It'll make me all my clients will love me. It's like nope, do it for you. Do it for the right reasons. And what you said
Yeah,
that really stood out was if it doesn't resonate, even when you've already committed to it, you're allowed to say no, right? You're
yeah,
allowed to
totally.
move
Yeah,
away.
don't feel ashamed for leaving it, you know. And some people grow and graduate to the next thing before maybe you even did it. It doesn't mean that you quit. It just, you might have had some kind of enlightenment where you're led somewhere else, or you know, where you know, were became aware of something else. And if it's to do this, then great, and do that. But like you said, if it resonates with you, continue. If it doesn't, if it stops, leave it, you know, leave
Yeah,
it behind. Hmm.
exactly. I love that. It's so important, everybody. Absolutely. Please, please, please connect with Tamara on social media, on her website. Get in touch with her and let her know how much you loved this interview. She is the first episode. She's the first person, and she has absolutely set the bar high. And I think that this is going to be a really good insight into what's coming for the rest of the episode. So thank you so much. And would you just
Thank you,
let everyone
Celeste.
know where they can find you? I mean, I have your stuff in front of me, but I think I'd love for you to invite them.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm Tamara Haddad, Tamara Jordan Haddad. You can find me on Instagram at Tamara Haddad 7. That's TamaraHaddad 7. And that's really the best place that you could reach me, because you could DM me there and touch base. And if you are in need of any posing coaching, competition coaching, one-on-one training, online training, nutrition, coaching, all that stuff, I can be reached at that Instagram or my email, Tamara Haddad 777 at yahoo.com. And
That's
thank you so much for
amazing.
having me, Celeste. I really
You're so
appreciate you choosing
welcome.
me to be your first one. Yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
of course. And everybody listening, All that information is going to be in the description and also on the show notes page, which you can find at www.celestial.fit/podcast. And if you go through the description below, you will see everything you need to know and everything we talked about and all the show notes so that you don't miss anything. And you can take all these golden nuggets that she's taken the time to share with us today, put them in your back pocket and take them with you wherever you're going. So to everybody listening, wherever you are in the world, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning. Wherever you are, just make it awesome.
Beautiful.